What's up, Goomer gang? How are you guys doing? For those of you who don't know, I'm Aaron. Welcome to the channel where we give you the geekiest of content ranging from anime to gaming and so on. Now, if that's something that interests you, then I highly recommend that you subscribe and ring that bell so that way you can be notified whenever we release new content. So in this Halloween special, we will be talking about true murder crimes that are tethered to all our favorite topics that we usually go over, such as anime and gaming and so on. Warning, this video contains graphic and violent content. Viewer discretion is advised. So, have you heard of the Manga killer? In Duden Park, Belgium, there were two people minding their own business walking around until they smelled something absolutely foul, putrid. Little did they know that they would come across a human torso and thighs. Mind you, this was on September 28th in 2007. So as any sane person would do, they ended up calling the police and reporting it. When the police arrived, unfortunately, they weren't able to ID the body, but at the very least, they weren't empty-handed. So what the police could actually gather from the evidence presented was that the victim was a white male aged between 20 and 30 years old, and that the body itself was relatively fresh, couldn't have been older than a week, and that the body also was moved there, definitely not killed on location. They also discovered some pretty unique findings. One of the discoveries were that the scrotum and the thighs were shaven down, and these body parts were cut so finely and cleanly that they thought that either the person who done this either was surgically experienced or that the body was frozen so that way the cut was more precise. Next to the body, there were notes in all caps and in different colors saying, "Watashi wa Kira desu," which is a line commonly used by a character named Light Yagami, which translates into "I am Kira." Light Yagami is the protagonist in an anime and manga called Death Note, where a kid with a god complex comes across a notebook where he actually writes people's names down and kills them. Now, going back to the scene, the body was found at the highest point of the park, which could be symbolic of the fact that Light Yagami had a god complex. So the police was worried that this was a serial killer, so they brought out this information to the public so that way they can see if anyone had any information to share. So because this information was released to the public, it ended up getting a whole bunch of unwarranted attention from the Japanese media. So in June of 2013, 3 men were arrested for killing their friend and flatmate. So 2 out of the 3 men actually confessed to being so disgusted with their friend's presence that they actually beat him with sticks and belts and an empty wine bottle until he stopped breathing. They then said, being that they were drunk, they were unsure what to do with the body. So they ended up spraying him with D-Stop, which is a pipe declogger. Similar to Drano, but nothing actually happened. So they apparently went quote-unquote anime mode, where they ended up grabbing a katana and chopping the body into parts, which would explain the precise cuts. Parts of the body, like the hands and the feet, they tried to burn in an abandoned house. And eventually they came to a conclusion to put the thighs and the torso in Duden Park. And the 2 out of the 3 men that confessed were charged with 20 years in prison. And the 3rd guy, who denied everything, was actually charged with 23 years instead. All of the men that were convicted of this crime were aged between 22 and 24 years old. So they'll be released within their 40s, which by the sounds of it, I don't think would be long enough for someone to be that deranged to just kill someone just because you're annoyed by them. You know, if we have a lot more people like that walking around, we'll probably have more murders. Personally, I think they should stay in prison for the rest of their life, but what do I know? Alright gang, that's it for tonight. So I wish you all a safe and happy Halloween. Always remember to have a Goomer day.